Yeah, mostly I took this one because it's dark, so it was the best contrast to the mask.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an exclusive. Well, it wasn't exclusive because he tested it about 10 minutes ago, but everybody, this is Purple.
Hello!
So tonight we're going to have a chat with Purple Rhymes with Orange, get to know them, he. What would you prefer, Purple?
Yeah, just purple's fine.
Purple's going to tell us a wee bit about themselves, and yeah, second time on screen ever with a mask.
Yep. Although technically this is Orange. Purple is the Viking character. Orange is the Triceratops.
That is something I wanted to ask you, man, is where the idea of all that came from. I know it's something to do with the Citroen C2.
Well, actually, the first part of it was purple was my fiance's favorite color. Orange was my favorite color. But then during gaming, Sloth Girl kept saying nothing rhymes with purple and nothing rhymes with orange, so by default they should rhyme with each other.
I like that.
So that's where the name came from.
Well, now that we know where
you're... Hey, I see lots of friendly people there. Crazy Cats and Angie and Miss Sassy.
Well, for the ones who don't know who you are, Purple, all his links are in the description, but do you want to just give us a wee shout out of what you are and what you do?
Well, mostly I just do some casual chats. I do Wednesday afternoons at noon Central Time and Thursdays at midnight Central Time. But I also occasionally do edited videos. I really haven't had a real focus yet. I've done a lot of things on the origins and history of holidays. I've done a couple of just historical pieces, like on World War II. You know, it's pretty much just whatever's on my mind, or, you know, things that I've kind of had little short stories of for years and I haven't had any place to tell them.
Yeah, so the YouTube would, for you more than anything, would be an outlet for you and what's going on in your head.
Yeah, it's just a personal vlog mostly.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Just somewhere to get your thoughts out and interact with people. That is an awful lot what your channel is about.
I never figured on making it big. When I started out, you know, to me it would have just been a thrill if I could have a video that had 100 people watch it. You know, just to think that many people would be interested in anything I've got to say.
Well, you are an intelligent person now. It's not like you don't have anything worthwhile saying.
Yeah, I also write science fiction, so I am working on a novel. That'll probably be a couple of years before I get it all together, though.
Well, perfection takes time.
Well, I've got the main story arc laid out, and you know, now it's the tedious part of actually typing it all out, and I type very slowly. I had an accident. I'm missing part of 3 fingers on my right hand.
Oh.
So that really slows down the typing a lot.
Yeah, because you wouldn't... Well, you could chop the other one off and then you would match. It would make it easier.
Actually, what I wanted is, like, if somebody's got a 3D printer and a scanner, if they could scan my good hand so they could make me prosthetics to fit the other one.
Yeah.
Mostly just because I think it would be hilarious to see what happens when somebody shakes my hand and they all fall off.
Well, Lucy, I know, has a friend that actually has a 3D printer. You could maybe ask Lucy and see what's going on and see if it's, you know, I'm sure they would.
Yeah, well, you know, the question then would be, you know, how do you get a scan of my hand so that they've got the measurements to do it?
Yeah, well, they live in UK as well, so that probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So, Purple, can't really remember how I met you. Was it through Angie Dell, or I meet her through you, or?
I don't really remember specifically which one. You know, I know that we were in the side chat together a lot when you were using the Mathemagical Pagan.
Yes.
You know, so I think there were several people that we were both in the side chat for.
I just want to address something in the chat. Chaos Theory, behave yourself, less with the digs. I'm not even going to be bothered with you tonight. This is a friendly interview with a friend of mine. We're not doing that tonight. And just to comment, that graphic in the background that you're looking at took well over a month to make for me. And I appreciate the person who did it. So please don't start tonight. Come back some other night and we'll do that. Sorry, you were saying Purple.
No.
Yeah, just back and forth in the chats and stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody's channels.
Yeah, just joking back and forth in the side chats, and I'm sure it was in some of Neil's interviews, but I think it was probably in like 3-4 different people's chats we kept running into each other.
Yeah, and I think maybe just sub to sub on how do we look about and seeing what each others was doing, and we do overlap an awful lot in the communities, like. There's lots of channels that we would all be on together and see each other in, and there is like a wee community, a wee family for everybody. Yours would be one of the hub channels.
Okay.
Can anyone hear me? Is the volume okay?
Yeah, no, I just realized that I had the wrong device selected. I wasn't getting it through the mask, so it was being hard for me to hear.
Can everybody hear me in the chat, in the live chat? Can everyone hear me now? Is the audio good?
Yeah, that probably got rid of the echo problem too when I shut off the speakers.
Yeah, I turned my TV down as well. I don't wear headphones. I have it coming out of the TV, and sometimes I get an echo. I forget to turn it down to the sweet spot. Yeah,
I usually have it coming out of the speakers too, because then if I need to step away for a minute, I can keep listening to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hell of a lot easier. Headphones, alright, they can be, get wireless and stuff like that, but no, it's far handier just to have it coming out of the speakers like that.
Yeah, I bought a set of wireless headphones, and for some reason my computer, the Bluetooth, does not work very well.
Yeah, your computer, you seem to just be having real bad luck with your computer. You can't do any...
it's not a real powerful system to begin with. I bought it as a refurbished workstation. So at this point, it's probably about 5 years since it was manufactured.
And the way computers go, yeah, 5 years is an awful
and it was pretty low on memory. I managed to, with some presents I got over the holidays, I managed to scrape together enough money to upgrade the memory. Because up until that point, I actually couldn't run the camera and the video and the live streaming software at the same time. It took up too much memory, and that would crash it. So, that's why I was never able to use the camera until this month.
Do you have a background in computers, Purple? Or do you mind me asking, what is your background like? Because we talk about religion ever so slightly here, and we did get ever so slightly diverged from some drama in the chat. But you aren't a Christian, you're not a theist, you are a pagan. Would I be correct in saying that?
No, I was pagan for about 25 years after I gave up on the Bible. But I am an atheist for like the last 5 years.
Oh, yes, sorry. It's just because you did the whole Yule thing, and you do mention it sometimes. That really threw me off.
Well, yeah, it even says in the description for my channel that I'm an atheist with pagan remnants.
I don't read the description of your channel. I just get to know you. We just met each other.
Nobody ever reads the description.
Nobody reads the description.
I have yet to find one person who has read it.
It's because also of the way you come across, because you would cross different things in the way you say. As I mentioned, you made a video on Yule, and you would mention and talk about things like that as well.
Yeah. Well, and Yule is really the only holiday I still observe. Because that's not an arbitrary holiday. It's not just a random date picked on the calendar. It actually has to do with the position of the Earth relative to the Sun and the tilt of the planet. So it just denotes the changing of the seasons. It's the longest night of the year, so it is literally when the sun starts to return. Yeah. So this is meaningful even today, but you can certainly see, with early agricultural societies, how this was a very critical time, that the days started getting longer, and it meant that soon the snow would melt and they could plant their crops again.
Brother John says he's went and just read your description. So there you go. Somebody has went and read your description. Just thanks everybody for turning up. We've got Bill out there. Bill, it's good to see you. It's been a wee while since we've seen you, man. And Converse is here, and yeah, we're just having a friendly chat tonight, getting to know someone in the community. And
I see nerdy and spooky.
Yeah, spooky's always about. Dave's there too. Dave's a good lad. So, Purple, tell me something like, how did you end up? Like I say that as if it sounds derogatory. How did you end up where you are, doing what you are? Like, why did you come on to YouTube?
Well, originally, it was while I was recovering from a hernia surgery. I had about 6 weeks that I could barely get out of my chair. Just walking to the bathroom was extremely painful. So I had nothing else to do, and I started poking around on YouTube, though originally I'm a fan of the classic Transformers. So I was looking for episodes of the original Transformers and looking for 80s animation. And that brought up Bionic Dance.
Oh.
So she was the first atheist that, I encountered online. And of course, once you start, watching much of one, it starts suggesting other things. So the algorithm started bringing up Apologia and Vice Rhino and Professor Stick. And the more you watch, the more people it brings up. So it just kind of snowballs from there. So, yeah, I found out there was an atheist community quite by accident because I was looking for Transformers.
Excuse me.
But it was nice to find, a group of people that, had similar beliefs and that I could have intelligent discussions with. So my main thing right now is I'm trapped in a very small backwater town, and if it was not for the internet, I would have gone crazy by now because this is the only way I get any intellectual stimulation. Half of my neighbors could be outsmarted by cows.
I totally get what you're saying, man. There was a certain person come into work the other week, and I actually used something very similar. I was like, that guy just had a look on him like a sleeping cow. He's just sort of walking.
Yeah, and well, just up here, everything is sportsman stuff. It's like all anyone will talk about is hunting and fishing and snowmobiles and ATVs, and I don't care about any of that stuff. So I literally go weeks or even months at a time without talking to anyone I'm not related to. Of course, that's a problem in itself, too, because I'm related to 3 of the 5 largest families in the county, which means within 3 or 4 generations, I'm related to about half the county.
So you're dying to get out?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's absolutely no chance of me ever dating here, for one thing.
There's no chance of you out there?
But this was supposed to be a temporary thing for me anyway, that, after my fiance died, I came here and it was supposed to be, just that it was a cheap place to live so I could kind of reorganize things, and I was all along planning to go back to Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
What I didn't count on here is that the whole county is so broke that, I've made my living for the last 35 years as a general handyman, doing all sorts of home repairs.
Yeah.
And while it's badly needed around here, no one has the money to afford to hire me. Even when I've dropped my base wage down to $10 an hour, as opposed to the $25 an hour I was charging in New York, even at $10 an hour, I can't find work here.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about America. The system is completely set up. Like, there's no social really support at all. You just don't have any social services or anything like that whatsoever.
So it's like I managed to bring in just enough to get by month to month. But, saving up money has been a real problem. Over the course of 4 years, I had managed to save $5,000. And then last year, I got screwed and didn't get paid for a job. So basically, all of that money wound up just getting used for basic living expenses because I had pretty much the most part of 6 months that I didn't get paid for.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, if you're a handyman and things like that there, that the people could pull out like that. Again, there's no real support in America for that.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Well, I had made the choice I kind of need to be self-employed because I don't relate well with other people on a lot of things. I am on the autistic spectrum. So it's like people have to be very forward with me. You have to, say exactly what you mean. Because I'm not going to pick up on the little clues from body language or facial expressions that most people would get.
Oh, well, that's good, because I've been referred to as blunt. So, yeah, makes my life
Yeah,
easier.
well, and that's part of why I like you. I need people who are very forward and clear about what they're talking about.
Yeah, there's no point in bullshitting with anybody.
Yeah.
Whether you're on the spectrum or not, I just think it's a waste of time. Sassy in the chat can vouch for me in that there. I've been blunt once or twice with her, and yeah, she was like, "Are you always this fucking blunt?" It's better to be blunt with people. It keeps things easy as well, because if someone doesn't want to hear you or put up with it, then they just leave. And only if they actually appreciate you will they come back and put up with you.
Yeah.
Better friends is what I mean. You make better friends.
Yeah. And I normally try to keep up with the side chat. It's a little difficult for me to read it now.
Oh, that's fine, man. That's fine. If anybody's bringing up anything, or if they want to talk directly to Purple, just tag me and I'll pass it on to them. I do appreciate you coming
actually,
over and ask, man.
right now, I'm stuck in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. I want to get back to Minnesota. At this point, it's looking like I may be able to do it. We seem to have found apartments that we could afford in Minnesota. But it's just, there seems to be a lot of paperwork involved with, just getting the credit checks and getting everything verified. And so it's like I have been reluctant to announce it, but it's like at this point, and 98% certain that we could be moving for March 1st. But that's also, I'm going to need some help with that. Because at this point, I don't, I had saved up the money for the moving fund, and that's no longer there. So I will probably wind up asking for help, but I'm waiting for the leases to be confirmed before I go for that.
Yeah, well, the community always will. That's one thing I did want to mention, that you always do try and help an awful lot of people. Regardless of what the content
I try to do what I can.
Yeah, no, but like you would get involved and you would try and organise 24-hour streams and 3-day streams, and if somebody needs a helping hand, like Doc's Fearsome, needed a helping hand, and just you were trying to sort out the Christmas stream and the New Year's Eve stream, just so people who didn't have people in real life had somewhere to come and just be together.
Well, and the Christmas stream, I would have never been able to pull that off without Pirate Kitty.
Shout out to Pirate Kitty.
Yeah. I had just 2 days before, I had a lot of empty slots, and Pirate Kitty jumped in and got on Discord and recruited some extra people that I didn't even know up to that point. So she filled up all the empty spaces right at the end.
Yeah, well, you see, that's what I mean. Regardless, as I say, your channel content is just basically a vlog. You do an awful lot for the community.
Yeah. Well, I try to. And that's... I know what it's like. I've been on the bottom end. I've had 2 instances in my life that I wound up homeless for a couple of months.
Pardon?
I've had 2 instances in my life where I wound up homeless for a couple of months.
Yes.
So, I know what it's like down on the bottom.
Well, I have to say, man, that you have come in as a foundation for, and you'll make anybody welcome on your stream.
I try to.
Yeah, as long as
and I try to avoid the drama. I don't want people to be, arguing and getting into, I'm open to people discussing everything, but I don't want anybody getting into any kind of personal attacks or insults.
Which does happen sometimes in a heated debate. Sometimes it can be worthy, sometimes it's justified, but I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I just try to keep it, to a pretty casual tone. So, it's just a group of friends hanging out. Most of the time I don't even have a subject. The times I've had a subject, we don't seem to stay on it very long. One time we had started the subject, in the private thing on StreamYards, and we were already off subject by the time I hit the go live button.
Well, yeah, they're never named anything. It's just, what is it, a midday hangout or something, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the Wednesday is midday Mid-America, and the Thursday night is midnight Mid-America.
Yeah. And it is. That's just exactly what it is. It's a group of people just hanging about, talking shit,
Yep.
and there's a lot
Yeah,
of
and
conversations that will go
you
on.
know,
like you
I
say.
tried to schedule one at noon and one at midnight, you know, so that people all over the world, people on other continents would, you know, have a chance to get in there. I had started with the midnight Mid-America because at the time I did that, it's like everybody was streaming, and it's like midnight was the only time slot I could find that I wasn't going to be streaming at the same time as some much larger channel in the community.
Well, it's not.
So I started it as kind of a joke, but since I was doing it at midnight, you know, I'd have some of the Australians come in there. So that's kind of how that all started and why that's at an odd hour, but
You're going
I
away
also
with
don't
it, though,
sleep
now, aren't
normal
you?
hours, so it suits me.
You've been going for a wee while with that, though. It's not just, 6 months or something.
Yeah, it's been going over a year.
Yeah.
You know, that's been a regular thing on Thursday nights.
So you would have been in the community then for possibly 2 years or so, probably by the time you meet everyone and talk to everyone and then start coming on screen. You've probably been about, well, you've definitely been about longer than me, that's for sure.
Well, actually, coincidentally, March 1st will be the 2-year anniversary of when I established the channel. But actually, I was kind of in the community and the side chats and that for about 6 months before that under a different handle.
Oh. Do we all know the secret handle, or is that a hidden secret?
It's not really a secret. I had set up a Google account with B Anon. You know, that I was just kind of playing with that. You know, that was one I had set up years ago when the whole idea of that was it had nothing that could be traced back to me, so I could just, you know, go in there and poke shit and get in trouble, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean, because I started into the chats and didn't think. I just changed the name on my original account, and now you can't. And on my channel, it's tied to me.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck. I'm Robbie. I'm from Northern Ireland. Most people know that anyway. I fucking near enough self-dox myself if you watched enough of my videos. But
it wouldn't be that hard for somebody to find me if they really wanted to. I'm not going to give instructions, but
it's the guy
it
that
wouldn't be that difficult. But even if you got my real name, it's so bloody generic that it really wouldn't help you any.
John Smith and that.
Pretty close.
I would say we just walk down.
You know, and mostly I'm only concerned about it while I'm living here because, you know, I've got family here, and this town is about 3,000 people, and there are 25 different active churches. You know, so it's like, okay, people are okay with you going to a different church. The idea that I don't go to any church would be really alien to them.
So your local community doesn't know your stance and where you are.
No, and, you know, I can't be out about, you know, being atheist. I can't be out about being pansexual. You know, nothing like that works around here. We have one openly gay man in the town. In the past year, he's been beaten up twice leaving the bar. You know, so it's not a very friendly, open community.
And
so,
probably the cops don't give two flying fucks.
No, they really don't. But, you know, like I say, it's just, I don't really care much about what people think of me. But, you know, if I were to be open about not being straight, I could see that as it could kind of backlash against other members of my family.
Yeah.
You know, so...
And the chance that you could get beat up, which we definitely don't want.
Yeah, you know, I'm not really even too worried about that, but yeah, it would be a possibility.
And the fact that point...
You know, but yeah, so if I can move out of here, if I can get back to Minnesota to a decent-sized city, then it won't be a big deal, you know, and then I won't really have a problem, with showing my face on camera or if people know my real name.
Yeah, but that's the thing about the small backward communities. They are small and backward.
Yeah.
In saying that, where I am here is a very small wee village, but you'd probably be open in any retrospect that you wanted to be here. I don't think anybody here would bother, but then, it's not America.
Oh. Alias is offering to help us unload when we get to Minnesota.
Pardon?
So, Alias fake name.
Yes.
I wasn't, yeah. What we're looking at is, if this goes through, we'll be moving to St. Cloud, and be moving there for March 1st. So that would be, March 1st would be the date we would arrive and be unloading. I don't know where you're at, Alias, if you're anywhere near St. Cloud.
I think they just want to see your face before everyone else does.
Yep.
If it costs me to come and
I would have preferred to be in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul, but, I'm not going to be picky. St. Cloud is a big enough city. If I have the chance to get out of here, I'm going for it.
Well, that's it, man. It's good to have a goal.
Yeah.
I know they say that the journey is always more important than the goal, but it's definitely worthwhile putting goals for yourself, setting tasks, and trying to, I was going to say improve yourself, but you improve your situation. Well,
a year ago, we actually had the possibility of getting into a place in St. Paul, but, they wouldn't do anything remotely. We had to be there to sign all the paperwork. And as we were going there, on our way to St. Paul, 30 miles out of town, my car blew out a brake line. And that was just, the idea of missing that opportunity was so utterly soul-crushing that I really went quiet and I didn't talk to anyone for 5 days.
Not a word.
Yeah, well, I just, I didn't want to get out of bed. It's that the chance was there, and by something completely out of our control, it was gone, and I just couldn't deal with it.
Strange out there. American cars, I hear the brake line goes an awful lot.
Well,
do you not have any sort of tests over there for cars or anything, though, to keep the cars correct?
Well, the car I'm driving is 15 years old, so,
but that's what I mean.
I don't even blame it on the car. It's just after that amount of time, you've got to expect some parts will have worn out.
No, but that's what I mean. You don't, over here in this country, our cars must go and get tested every year. My brake lines maybe lasted 3 years, and then they said they're bad and I had to change them. And I tried my best to get them through, and they're like, no, you need to fucking change them.
No, and they're, for a while some states had at least emissions inspections, but for the most part those have gone away too. So yeah, there really isn't any kind of regular inspections that are required to keep a car licensed.
We have it here. It's called an MOT, and it must be done every year. And in England it's quite relaxed. You drive into a garage, the guy checks your car over, and if it needs any parts he replaces it there and then and gives you a pass and lets you leave. Over here in Northern Ireland, because we had the troubles, they didn't do that anymore because of bombs and stuff, I don't know. So they've set up government-run centres, and they have to, you go in, you go through the test, and then you get a fail or a pass, and then you have to fuck off and get your car fixed and then go again.
Yeah.
I feel...
Well, like I say, we had a thing that they did emissions inspections, but there really wasn't even any safety check involved in that.
Well,
they only checked if the exhaust system was okay and that your car wasn't, putting out above a certain level of pollutants.
Well, my car is in decent enough condition. I bought it guts of 2 years ago. It is from 2007, so it's 12-year-old, 13-year-old now nearly. And it had a full service history with the company that owns it. The guy that got his servicing done, every time he took it back to the service dealer and got the whole lot done. And I went for my MOT this year, which, as I say, is mandatory. I failed it the first time, which was the plan. I wanted to go up and fail to see what the list was that they wanted me to change, And then I left. You have 10 days then to get your car fixed and get back again for what they refer to as a retest, which they only check what they failed you on. And if you take more than 10 days, they do a full check on the car again. And when I went back the second time, the second guy found 2 other things that he wasn't happy with and failed me again. So then I had to take the car away again and get it fixed a second time and then bring it back again to get a pass. And even when I was going back the third time to get a pass, you're not allowed any lights on in the dash whatsoever. No service light. Well, you're allowed a service light, but that's the only light you're allowed on in the dash. No brake lights, no battery lights, no oil lights, no nothing. It's an instant fail if there's a light on in the dash. And when we replaced the back shock on the car, we must have broke a wee clip and it brought the brake light on. And outside the MOT centre, I lay down underneath the car, wiggled the lead till the light went off, drove in, passed the MOT, and before I even got out of the yard, the light came back on again. And I was like, fuck it, passed, main thing. But it's very strict here, man. And the second time I failed, an inch was broke off the bottom of my spring. Not unsafe in any way, but you could tell that the bottom wee inch had just broken off in the cold, and that's a fail. It's very strict, which is a good thing that the cars do last, you know, but it means that there's an awful lot of cars do get scrapped here.
Yeah, well, I know that happens in most countries, that they've got, you know, safety inspections and that, and I understand the purpose for them. But, yeah, part of that is that, yeah, fewer people then can afford to have cars, and in the U.S., the public transportation in most areas is not good. There's only a very few cities that really have effective public transportation.
Well, it cost me £935 to put my car through MOT this year, so I can fully agree with you on that. You know, if I didn't have that money sitting there in savings, I'd have been screwed. Like, no car, no work, no see the daughter, no nothing. Like,
yeah. Well, and for me, I generally can't afford to pay the mechanic, so it's like, I don't really know a lot about cars. I'm figuring out as I go, but I patch my own together.
Oh yeah, well I would usually do that as well, but at the minute I'm spending 6 days a week at work and then 3 days a week with the daughter and the girlfriend and just not having enough time. It gets dark here at 10 o'clock at night and I work till 6, so time you get home and get fed, it's fucking getting dark. You don't have any time to work.
When you're working full time, but you know, if you're working full time, then you've got a bit more money, so maybe you can afford to pay them.
It was just easier that way. Plus the fact that whenever I drove, no joke, this is the truth, I drove to my mum's house one Sunday, as we do every Sunday with a child and stuff, and she just took my keys off me and gave me the keys to her car and says, my car's got an MOT, I'm taking your granny's car tomorrow, your car's not being drove again. And she took the car off me, because if you get caught driving without MOT over here, it's illegal and they take the car off you. So she just took the car off me. I'd been driving for a month with no MOT, just waiting till I got some time to get it fixed. So she just took the car off me and gave me hers.
Yeah, well,
it's good to have a support group, man. If you can move to Minnesota, or not Minnesota, is it Minnesota you're moving to? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I had lived in Minnesota for, you know, well over 20 years before I met my fiance and moved to New York. So I still have a lot of friends there, and that's part of it, that, you know, I have a support network. I have social groups there that I helped start that are still running.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of toy collector groups and gaming groups. You know, so it's like I get back there, I can plug right in with people that I've known a long time. And
tell me more about the Transformers, man. You know, where did the love for Transformers come from? You obviously hate the new movies, I would assume.
Yeah, the Michael Bay stuff I can't take at all. Well, just, you know, I was like 22 when the Transformers premiered in the U.S. and I was going to a technical institute at the time. You know, so it's just something that I would record every day while I was going to school and, you know, watch them in the evening. And it just, you know, they were a lot of fun because, yeah, the writing wasn't great, but they still managed to build some good characters. You know, and I guess to me that's the main thing in any fiction, you know, is that if they're believable and relatable characters, I can overlook a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, you can totally agree with you in that. I'm a big, huge fan of B movie stuff and very low
Yeah.
budget stuff. The cheaper it is, the better. I watch some shite, as my woman puts it. I definitely
Yeah.
do. But I think the B movies can be better because sometimes they do put a bit more emphasis on the characters and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just happened that while I was living in St. Paul, there is an annual Transformers convention that moves around the country, different cities, different years. And in 1999, they happened to decide to have it in St. Paul. So it's like, okay, no travel expenses. I could afford to go to the convention and, met some people there who were from the local area, and we started a group. We started the Minnesota Trans Fans, which years later got expanded to be the Midwest Trans Fans, to take in people from the surrounding states. And we started that in 1999, and the group is still going with 3 of the 5 original members still there.
Do you mind me asking, Purple, what age bracket or age group you are?
I'm 55.
You're what?
I'm 55.
55.
Yep.
I didn't think you were that old now. I knew you were older than me, but I didn't think you were that old.
Yeah. Yep. It's something I wind up with a lot in the community, is that I have raised children who are older than probably the majority of people that I'm dealing with online.
Yeah, like I'm 36.
Yeah, my oldest stepdaughter's 37.
Yeah, you see, that's insane. Like, because whenever you meet somebody, I wonder this sometimes. Now, I know this is a weird thing, but sometimes somebody will walk past you in the street. And I'm not looking at them because they're attractive, or I'm not looking at them because they're grabbing my attention, or I'm looking at them because there's maybe something caught my eye. Maybe the bag that they were carrying, or their backpack that had a badge on the back of it that caught my eye. And I would think about what their life is like, and what they go through and who they are. And like, you never see that person again, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Whenever I've met you, and you wonder where have you been and what's behind the mask, so to speak. And to me, from when I met you, that is how long I've known you. So it's how much it's hard to describe what I'm trying to put across. I've no idea of your past, of what happened with you, of your life in the background, and I have what I know of you now, and this is the character I have, so to speak, of Purple and who Purple is. And I'm sure that there's an awful lot that's happened in your past that's made you, come to where you are. And that's what I'm asking. Like, if I seen you walk down the street wearing that mask, I would probably never see you again, but I would definitely wonder what that guy's life's like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I wind up doing that, and I wind up, trying to imagine the backstory of someone I ran into.
Yeah, I would do that. And that's what I'm asking, man, because I've got the opportunity now to ask you.
Yeah, well, it's...
like, you've mentioned your fiancée, obviously, and you've mentioned the movie.
Yeah, she died 5 years ago, and, it really is... I don't know if I'm ever going to have a serious relationship again. It would take a very special person, but I'm also very open to the idea of less intense relationships. I don't have a problem with casual sex as just being a hobby. If I find some partners who are agreeable to that.
Yeah, I think most people would be agreeable to casual sex with no strings attached and all the goodness about it. Sometimes it never works like that, but sometimes it can be good. It maybe can be move on from that. But yeah, relationships are insane. Like, mine's very stretched at the minute, living so far apart and all. But even today, when I mentioned to a fella, he came in and he was talking about his child, and I happened to mention mine, and I said that I only see them at the weekends, and he was like, "Oh." I said that me and the girlfriend were still together, and because we live apart at the minute, it sort of not caught him off guard, but he was like, "Oh, you're still together?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course we're still together. It's just she rents at the minute, and I own my own house, so it needs to get sold before I can get moved up there." And I'm not in the obviously bad situation that you're in yourself now at the minute, man, but definitely something that's going to be happening is a big move and, you know, a life change, but it will be better because I'll have my family beside me, my main family, my girlfriend and my daughter, which mean the most to me, you know. I was wondering if the mask was full over the head. Yeah, that's fine, Purple. I'll come on screen. No, there you go. I'm not as pretty. Not as pretty, but I'll just dance. Where's the potato? We'll turn on the potato because it's more attractive. Oh no, the potato's not working. You're actually stuck with me. I told him he could turn the camera off at any stage, man. Wearing a big mask like that's bound to be stressful on the old neck for a while. I don't know if anyone can hear my dog. He's eating in the corner. He's having his dinner. And he's back.
Yeah, just Sloth Girl just came in. She brought me dinner.
Oh, happy days.
So, that's kind of her job. That if left to my own devices, I will sometimes forget to eat for like up to 3 days in a row. So she makes sure I eat every day.
Well, it's good that you can have someone to do that.
Yeah, well, we take care of each other, and it's like we could never live together. We would drive each other crazy. So having separate apartments in the same building is the ideal situation for us.
Well, that works out perfect.
You know, because we need to both be able to retreat to our own space and lock the door sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's what me and my woman were talking about. We were thinking we're hoping to build a house, depending on what the market's like and how much Trump fucks it up whenever he's finished. But
well, oh yes, and our kiddies socialize together. So.
Well, we were hoping to build a house, and we were talking about building, because it's so far away from where my family, it would be my mum and stuff, of possibly building like a wee granny flat at the bottom, which could work out. So if my mum spends 2 hours driving in the car, she can't really stay for a while and then drive home. It would destroy her. So it would give her somewhere to stay if she wanted to stay for the weekend, or, you know, come and stay with the kids.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to try to put you back on the speakers so that Sloth Girl can listen along here.
Go for it.
As long as it doesn't cause an echo, we'll be okay.
Well, if it was just like before, man, it was the slightest wee echo. And the
Okay.
if everybody can hear the backing track, it should actually be over the back. You know, the backing track should cover it.
Well,
And the fact that we've got you this far tonight is absolutely awesome. Yeah, and there, Neil's thing just popped up. Neil's awesome as well. Yes, the fact that we've got you on live is...
Hey, Neil.
I really appreciate that you've come on here, and I know you did it earlier in your channel, but you mentioned it before that you might be showing your mask, and I know anyone who's watching this back that doesn't know Purple is just looking at him going, there's a madman with a mask on. And he may be a madman with a mask on, but this is a big step for Purple, just to see, you know, to get this far. This is like, you know, amazing. This really is, and I'm privileged to have you do this, Purple. I want to thank you for that.
Well, and I have to thank Neil. The camera I have was actually when Neil upgraded, he sent me his old camera.
Well, thank you, Neil. Without Neil...
Yeah, so this Logitech 920 camera that I've got is from Neil. And he signed it, and, you know, whatever I manage to get a better one, I'll put my signature on it, and we'll send it to some other, you know, new YouTuber.
I hope it's a big camera, does its rounds. Leave room for everybody to sign their name.
Yep.
But no, that's another example of just how everybody here in the community, and we can help each other. You know, the community that we have here may be small at the minute. There's possibly 25, maybe 30 of us that would overlap with each other, and we would see every year. And you know,
well, that's Soft Girl saying, that, you know, we need to keep helping each other out. And,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like, there's Lucy just appeared back in the chat again, so thanks, Lucy. what we've been coined as by another YouTube channel as the UK Whack Pack. I don't know if you've seen that on Twitter. There's Critical didn't get claimed in it, but Critical is in it as well. He didn't get put in the polls because the damn fucking polls in Twitter are only 4 characters. You can't add 5.
Yeah.
If you could have added 5, Critical would have been in there too. But yeah, there's a lot of people.
Well, you know, Twitter, unless somebody actually tags me, I'm probably not going to see it. Because mostly just a matter of time. I don't really have time to read all the public stuff in Twitter. And even if I had the time, it's like you can't go a week without there being a dumpster fire. So it's really not something I'm that interested in following.
I find it difficult to navigate.
Okay, Sloth Girl's waving goodbye. She's going to have her dinner.
See you later, Sloth Girl. No, I'm still finding it hard to navigate Twitter. I'm more of a Discord person.
Yeah, I know you've been trying to get me to go on there, and it's like, you know, every time I open it up, I'm just so overwhelmed with notifications, and it's like...
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Again, I don't have the time to follow all of it.
Yeah, no, you don't. That's the thing, man. Neither could I. If I showed you how many servers I was in and set up and have to run it, no fucking way could you have every notification on. You go into the server and you set it for only at notifications with push notifications on at everyone. That's it. And then every channel goes silent except if you're tagged for an announcement or somebody specifically wants to talk to you. That's it. It's the only way you can survive on so many channels. Some servers have like 50 channels. That's just insane.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, just the number of servers that I wound up subscribed to already, you know, just because they're YouTubers I follow.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You find your group. Everybody ends up with a wee home Discord, you know, their own wee server. And if it may not be their server, it's definitely a server with their, like a social group or something like that, you know. It comes down. Well, we'll not do the technical talk because I've got that for Nerdy next week. Me and Nerdy's just going to geek out next week, and I think Daily Atheist definitely wants to jump on that as well and have a wee go.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions specifically for Purple, I've got one that I've been dying to ask and haven't asked, and I sort of know the answer to because you've mentioned it before. The origins of the mask. How old is the... Because people... You didn't make this mask for tonight.
No, actually, I made this mask sometime back in the 1990s when I was, you know, teaching my girls how to do paper mache.
And you...
Yeah, it was just, you know, doing craft projects with my kids, and so it turned out to be pretty durable, and I've, you know, I used it, I wore it to a couple of gaming conventions. And actually, I couldn't fit the mask on over my glasses, so I actually took the lenses from an old pair of glasses, and I've incorporated them into the mask. So it actually has my prescription lenses, so if anyone else tried to wear it, it'd probably give them a headache.
And then you fiddled with it the other day and put the mic up inside it. Yeah,
well, and that was the thing, was trying to get the microphone up so it's near my mouth so that I'm not literally eating it, because there isn't that much space there. So I wasn't quite sure if I was going to get a microphone fit in a position that you'd be able to understand what I was saying.
No, you sound just like you would normally.
Yeah, well, and that, you know, earlier today I did that quick little audio test, you know, just so I could record a few minutes and play it back so I could hear what it sounded like, you know, and make sure it was going to be okay.
Yeah, no, it sounded perfectly, man. As I say, right now it sounds just like you normally would sound. Just like you normally would sound. Everything's coming through 100%. So, any questions specifically for... thank you, Crazy. Thank you. She said her home server is my server. That's awful nice of her. But in saying the pigsty is quite active. We all like to chat. Everybody that's in there likes to chat. And we've all got thick skins. You know? So, a certain person joined today, which was the third person in about 15 minutes. and Jupit made a comment, would you stop being so fucking popular, all these damn new people? I remember when this server was locked, and the person was like, I can leave if you want me to. It's like, no, that's just her. It's okay. Just get thick-skinned. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But you don't mind, Purple, you're about for a wee while longer? We can bring some people in? Would you be about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
No, I really don't have any hard time limit tonight. You know, and I know it's getting kind of late for you, but I mean, for me, it's only going on 5 o'clock here.
Oh, well, I'm generally fine, man. I sleep.
Yeah,
sort of
so,
like
you know,
2. Yeah.
well, I'm still early in the evening, and it is extremely rare for me to get to bed before 2 or 3 a.m.
Yes, I'm very, very similar to that, man.
So, you know, for me, it's like, this is only halfway through my day.
No, Mondays I take off the internet, I take off everything, I go home and I go to bed at about 7 o'clock. I did wake up yesterday and notice a chat going on between Bill and Gio, and they were like, oh no, MathPig's not here, MathPig's sleeping. And Gio commented, he tells us he's sleeping. And I just woke up and I was looking at the phone and I was like, will I text and say something? I was like, no, just go back to sleep. So Mondays I do take off the internet and go to sleep, but other than that, I'm 2-3 hour bursts a night. And that sort of does me like.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't sleep well. I never sleep more than 2 hours at a time. So I wind up laying in bed for 8 to 10 hours to get 4 to 5 hours sleep.
That's insane. I don't understand people like that at all. I can literally close my eyes and be asleep within 15 minutes.
Yeah, I can't get my brain to slow down. You know, it's like I feel tired. I can be to the point of being so physically exhausted that I can barely get to bed. And once I get into bed and lay down, then my brain's running through, you know, just the list of everything I have to do this week and trying to calculate out the sizes for all the pieces I need to cut for my next project. You know, and it's like I can't get it to shut the fuck up and let me sleep.
Yeah, I used to be like that, man. And then what I actually do then is it's not meditation, but like I would concentrate on my breathing, and that's what I would usually do is just go, and I would actually in my head say breathe out. Well, not out, I would just be out and in, but actually say it in my head, and I find that saying that in words in your head while you're trying and actually going to sleep, you know, it takes prominence over your thoughts. And
yeah, well, and I sometimes can do a meditation that I can basically reach the point that my brain is still going, but I feel kind of detached from my body, so I don't have any sensory input.
Yeah. And you just, no, I get where you're coming from, man. I'm very, very similar in that there. My brain never shuts the fuck up. It's why I sort of figured with Discord, and then I figured with the OBS and stuff, and it's why I do that. But anybody, the link is in the chat if you want to jump in. Catnip, jump in. Come on, say hello. And anyone else wants to jump in, we're just having a friendly chat. We're not doing any arguments or fuck all tonight. And we'll... Purple, his links are in the description. As the sign says in the background, think for yourself. And if you think you want to come and join Purple's group and we'll have a few chats, it's good fun. It's relaxed. It's a nice atmosphere and everybody's welcome. The
think for yourself is the motto for my channel. You know, when I do the edited videos, I always say that, you know, I'm hoping I can expose people to something that will catch their interest enough for them to want to do a little research on their own. And I always say that if you question what I'm telling you, I consider that a step in the right direction, because I want you to think for yourself.
Exactly. And on that note, Purple, I want to say thank you very much for coming. And we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes, everybody. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Okay, 10-minute break.
Yep.